just said about China, it's pretty darn terrifying. So if you missed it, here's what the New York Times, out with this headline, had to say. U.S. aims to constrain China by shaping its environment, Blinken says. Sure, nothing to see here, I'm sure, because when the United States admits to trying to constrain a country, it always turns out great. So Antony Blinken, the guy that has no H in his name, so you just say Antony Blinken. Here's Mr. Blinken in his own words from a speech yesterday. Don't Blinken or you'll miss him.
China's the only country with both the intent to reshape the international order and increasingly the economic, diplomatic, military, and technological power to do it.
So I just have to stop it there for a second. So China is the only country with both the intent and the capability to fundamentally reshape the global order. I almost spit out my coffee. I'm not going to even waste my breath calling out the bullshit of that statement coming from a country that in the very same week just sent $40 billion to Ukraine and then also sent soldiers back to Somalia in basically the same 7-day period. Okay, so maybe I will waste a little bit of my breath on that, but it's ridiculous, right? Now, if you watch the full speech, and I encourage you to do that, you get a really full understanding of just how warped the United States is towards China. Here's another clip.
Even as President Putin's war continues, we will remain focused on the most serious long-term challenge to the international order, and that's posed by the People's Republic of China.
Okay, so first and foremost in this speech is the declaration that Russia is nothing really to pay attention to. The real story is China and the impending war with them. Now, we've been talking about this on the show for a number of months, especially since the most recent Russian invasion of Ukraine unfolded. We said it here that this is just a distraction. The real story is China. Right. So now he's even admitting it, like Russia over there. That's fine. Don't pay attention to them. Oh, good, because the U.S. has proven just how badly our disastrous policy with Ukraine has gone. So now let's try it out on China. We armed the Ukraine military that just got destroyed by Russia. So now let's funnel billions of dollars into Taiwan and train those guys. Seems to work every time we do it, right? Afghanistan, Somalia, Ukraine, the list is endless. The honest truth, of course, is that, as ex-CIA Larry Johnson put it in an excellent interview with friend of the show Eva Bartlett, we haven't fought a real enemy since the Korean War. Listen.
Guck mal, weißt du, was das hier ist? Das ist Sicherheit. Sicherheit für dein Unternehmen. Denn das, was du da gerade...
That the United States really has not fought a genuine foe, somebody who could fight back. Since World War II, or let's say the Korean War. Vietnam doesn't even really count because in Vietnam they were not up against an air force that had the competence of the United States. The Ukrainian military is not a real military now. It's been eviscerated. It's been neutered. And Russia was very effective in doing that.
Now, side note, we reported on this show a few months ago that the United States already has troops in Taiwan and has been actively training them for some time. Not a shocker. Another amazing moment came when Blinken said, quote, China has announced its ambition to create a sphere of influence in the Indo-Pacific.
And it has announced its ambition to create a sphere of influence in the Indo-Pacific and to become the world's leading power.
Really? Has China said that and I've just missed it? I mean, it's possible. I'm not that bright. I miss a lot of things. Maybe I missed it. Okay, let's start with a simple Google search. Here's my search. Does Google get money from the government? Oops, sorry. Wrong search question. But here's the answer I got. Yes, the U.S. government funnels massive subsidies to Google. Sorry, I just wanted to provide some context here. When I actually do a search on Google about China. Let's see if I get some honest answers. Okay, here, let's search this now on Google. Has China announced a plan to create a sphere of influence in the Indo-Pacific? Well, that's odd. Here are the results. There are none. In fact, the only results that even speak about this are from the United States government sources like the USembassy.gov and, the White House. Oh, and here's another one. Yeah, this one from the State Department. Now, you would think that all of the money that the U.S. intelligence state funnels to different newspapers and press like the Washington Post, that there would at least be some fake news articles out there to support this claim, but I can't find them. Now, if you want to be cynical, you could say that China's Belt and Road Initiative that was announced by Xi Jinping in 2013 as a massive infrastructure initiative has a few minor tentacles into the Indo-Pacific region, but even that doesn't seem to be what they're talking about. The military is what they're talking about. So just to put a pin on that part for a moment. Now, the U.S. is saying that China wants an influence in its own backyard, right? Like I own a house and I want to have influence over my kids playing in the backyard, right? So even if that were true, who cares? Who gives a rat's ass? Other Western imperial powers want to control everything. I mean, think about this for a second. Think about the hypocrisy from the United States. The U.S. has the Monroe Doctrine, created by U.S. President James Monroe, and it's official U.S. policy that no European or Eastern powers can come over to the Western Hemisphere and do anything. We would consider that an aggressive move against the United States. JFK, in fact, invoked the Monroe Doctrine during the Cuban Missile Crisis. He told Khrushchev in the Soviet Union to get those missiles out of Cuba because it was a violation of the Monroe Doctrine. And it worked. Khrushchev caved. The Monroe Doctrine has no power. It's totally made up. It's like a group of boys building a tree house and putting a sign on it that says no girls allowed. By the way, why wouldn't you want girls in your boys' treehouse? I mean, come on. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's just a piece of paper. It doesn't have any power. That's the Monroe Doctrine. So who are we, the United States, to control the Western Hemisphere? Heck, even Russia, following the collapse of the Soviet Union, claimed that part of the world in that area was under Russia's sphere of influence. That came from Moscow. So the United States has done it. Russia has done it. But if China wanted a sphere of influence, we'd shut it down by building military bases in the Solomon Islands and everyone else to contain the dangerous red dragon that is China. Don't you just love the double standards in U.S. geopolitics? Well, the Chinese government has responded with this today, quote, by spreading disinformation and smearing China's domestic and foreign policies, the real motive of Secretary of State Antony Blinken's address outlining the U.S. policy towards China is to maintain U.S. hegemony. Wow. Mic drop. Doesn't that perfectly summarize what we've just seen? I mean, I can't argue with that at all. He calls out the fake news that the United States is creating, and he calls out the double standard about U.S. power and hegemony. Man, if we only had a disinformation governance board, then maybe the United States would stop putting out all of this disinformation. Please like and subscribe to my channel and check out our in-depth interview that we did with award-winning journalist Eva Bartlett right here on the channel. I think the box pops up right here. Yeah, click that box and watch my full interview with amazing journalist Eva Bartlett. She's exposing the truth in Ukraine. We'll see you next time, everyone.
Mein Start bei Torben sah so aus.